Welcome back, everybody. Albert Winks here again, the Fulfilled Veteran podcast. Episode 25. I got Hiram. Can't wait for you guys to meet him. And he's been doing a lot of good stuff out there. He's checking his email right now because I told him to. I was like, I'm going to go ahead and do my intro and you do your email shit for a couple seconds. So he's out there making things happen. So if you don't know about me, I'll tell you a little bit about what I got going on, and then Hiram and I will get into our chat. And Hiram and I have known each other for, 6-7 years now, but parted ways a while back. And so I'm curious what he's got going on. And so we're going to catch up in front of everybody. So, but if you don't know who I am, there's really two main menu items that I have in a book that bridges the gap between both of them. So I'll tell you about that. I have this podcast primarily on Rumble. And that way we can say whatever the hell we want to and self-promote and that kind of thing. We're out there on YouTube as well, just to get more eyeballs to drive more traffic back over to Rumble. So just want to let you guys know. So we're going to say a lot of cuss words and stuff. So prepare yourself. It's what we do. So I've got two primary menu items. One of them is helping veterans get you guys' money in your pocket. And I am a for-profit, and that's a good thing. Here's why. Because the government, if you can't see this big ass check over my left shoulder, I'll point at it every now and then. But everybody who serves in uniform, there's something that's called compensation and pension. It's because the government's going to beat you up, and that's what the contract that you sign. So it doesn't matter if you serve months, years, or decades, you've earned a minimum of $5,000 a month of money from Uncle Sugar. And the sad story is that the government takes that money, breaks it up, and puts it in different places, like property taxes or money for your kids in college. And they do that purposefully to steal it from you and hide it from you in a way that other for-profits and legal people and all that kind of stuff, they only know their lane. So when you talk to a VSO or Legion or whatever property tax guy, they only know their little silo and they won't venture outside of it. I, in 6 years, have delivered over $10 billion to my clients. And my clients are the deadliest humans on earth. So Delta, MARSOC, 160th, fighter pilots, I could keep going. And I say all that to say this, that it's about trust and performance. People have to fucking show up. They have to show up. They have to do the work. Your money is always on the other side of compliant paperwork with whoever has your money. Whether it's your kids in college or insurance or something like that, you guys always know it's fucking paperwork. So I am the guy and the guide who can guide you through the fastest path, compliantly, of course, to get to your money. And it works like a champ. There's going to be emotions, but you're not alone. And you'll see that. So I host multiple events per week, per month. I'm out in front of my clients all the time. I'm on camera so much, it makes me sick in a good way because I'm not a camera hog, but I'm out in front of my people all the time. So just want to let you know, you're not alone. And my clients, they always end up saying the same line that I do. Albert, if it's this hard for us as fighter pilots and MARSOC and stuff, oh my God, man, then Joe Average is getting fucked. And the truth is, yeah. But in order to be the change, we have to just show up every day and do what we do to get to, because obviously the government's not going to do the right thing by themselves. Never happens. Never heard that happen. So just letting you know. But so that's one thing. And the other menu item that I help you guys out with is building your empire. So whether you're trying to get it going or growing, Hiram and I are going to talk about that. Maybe it's a for-profit, maybe it's a non-profit. I heard a really funny, I guess there's a movie out there now that I know the actor, and I thought it was hilarious. This guy says, when life gives you lemons, build your lempire. And I was like, holy shit. And he gives all these crazy examples of how to take lemons and oh my God, it was insane. So you guys will have to look that up. But the actor is, if you guys saw he played the president in the second, what's that? National Treasure movie. So it's that guy. So if you find out who and what that is, he's like, when life gives you lemons, create your empire. Oh my God, hilarious. So, and very, very accurate. So go watch it and you'll be like, oh my God, that's insane. But so many of you guys have a really good idea. And going back to that empire, you guys just don't know where the fuck to get started. I've got guys who have told me billion dollar tomorrow ideas. And when you hear it, you go, you mean that doesn't exist? No, it doesn't exist because somebody's not doing it. And you guys get in your own way so many times. So anyway, make sure you talk to me and we'll get that squared away. All right, so the book that bridges the gap. So the book that you see the picture of, that's a book that's already gone the #1 on Amazon for pre-sale. It's still in pre-sale mode for a couple of reasons, which I'll tell you about. But it's The First 5 Fucks to Give for veterans and service members. And it's other F words like family and faith and finances, stuff like that. So fitness, food, friends, additional F's in there. So there's more than 5. But my point to this is it's a very quick and easy. This is not the book, but this is what it looks like. It's a little survival guide. It's a little hip pocket survival guide. There's many reasons why I designed it that way, is so that you guys out there, my airline pilot clients, you guys can buy 10 of them, put them in your hip pocket and hand them out. And I've got plenty of airline pilots out there who are going, oh my God, Albert, I can't wait till your book comes out. I'm going to get 10 of them. I'm going to hand them to my co-pilots. I'm going to hand them to all their family and friends. And I'm going to go buy more. And I'm going to keep handing those out because it is just a straight up survival guide on how to know what's out there. The #1 line my clients always end up saying to me is, Albert, I wish I would have known you sooner. Holy fucking shit. The stuff that you tell me is life-changing because I just didn't know about it. I didn't know I needed to aim for my money, that I earned that money. I'm telling you guys, I've briefed tens of thousands of veterans out there, and not one single veteran ever or their family has ever told me, Albert, I hear everything you're saying about the money. We're receiving all the money, and we're happy as fucking clams. Not one single veteran. And that I want that to change, but I got to show up, and that's why I have a podcast. So please make sure you're liking my stuff, sharing my stuff. Again, on Rumble, Facebook, LinkedIn, share, subscribe, follow. Make sure you're following Hiram and all the stuff he's got going on too. Guys, nobody's going to support us but us. Nobody knows us but us. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I'm done flapping my fucking gums here. Hiram, welcome. Let me take you off mute because you're over there typing. And give us your 1 or 2 minutes about yourself. There you go. You got it.
All right, brother. Hey, well, Albert, thank you very much, man. It's a pleasure meeting you. You know, again, reconnecting after five going on 6 years. A lot has changed since we've both been, talking to each other. A little bit about myself, as I'm a Persian Gulf combat vet, right? A lot of people don't recognize that, but that little campaign only lasts like about 45 days, but it's still a campaign, right? Kind of led into the Cold War, and then it leads into the Iraqi War and the Afghanistan War. A little bit about myself: was in the Marine Corps for about 14 years. I was a drill instructor, admin guy, but assigned to the infantry. Did my time with, supporting back in the FMF days in the 70s and 80s, late 70s and 80s with the recon unit. But I was carrying a typewriter and doing everything that they did. So a lot of people don't, the misconception, right, as you well know, for a lot of people, they don't fucking get it that, support battalions do everything they do, right? They need to get it up. Well, you're not part of it. And I said, well, you're right. You're not part of it. We didn't do all the operations, but guess what? We're there in the back doing everything else. And if we have to fill in the hole, we had to. So for me as well, did my time. I decided to be a drill instructor, went to MCRD San Diego, and it was a good experience. I learned a lot of shit that going down there. But here's the thing, man. As we well know, right? Times have changed. The standards kind of maintained, but they're being more politically correct in an aspect. So it hurts my heart to see how things are going, but at least for us, we're maintaining the standards. Spent some time working for UPS for 25 years. I could tell you, Albert, you and me are right here on social media. Try to do this after the Persian Gulf War, right? There was no social media. Here's your DD-214. Don't let the door hit you in your ass on the way out. Go figure it out. So the whole thing is, for myself, man, transition was really tough, right? I went from having extraordinary leadership skills and billets to trying to get a job to make ends meet. And the biggest thing I can honestly tell you is this, right? Is that I still had the knife hand mentality. People start talking shit. I would start, we play the dozens, right? If we think on our feet, we start going at it. So people get all offended and says, you look kind of intense. You look psycho and everything else. So in the period of time that I've come to this point in my life, there's been a lot of intervention. There's been a lot of personal development. There's been a lot of, going to PTSD clinics and more or less, and everything else is more or less unbelievable in a way where things are just unexplainable. Don't mind me. This is what happens when you're on live, right? Yeah, I got to unplug somebody else's freaking phone. So that's pretty much it. And the biggest thing I can tell you is that I had to personally develop myself in a way where it's ridiculous, And my whole thing is that I'm here today. We're talking about spent some time working in the VA, learned a lot about the VA from a non-clinical aspect. The VA, I could tell you, it's good in some parts, but it's a galaxy of its own, and it's a major shit show. And and I know a lot of veterans that really need the care, they get fucked over because they're not getting the care. And then you get the guys that know how to use the system. They never crossed the wire, and they're making like $6,000 a month based on the benefits, and they know how to work it. So for me, I've learned that I need to get out to another location. I work for another federal agency. I'm not going to disclose that right now, right? Safe to say, because you never know. But I still work. I'm still a federal employee. So even though we're on, no filter situation, you never know who's going to be listening.
Mm-hmm.
And so my whole thing now, and I spent some time working in corporate America, man. And now one thing I could tell you is this, right? I'll disclose this. I worked for Kaiser for a little bit. That was a shit show in itself. And I tell you, the healthcare benefits that people are paying for are nothing compared to what we get, right? And we understand, and I'm just saying this is an oxymoron. It's a little tangent because I want to share that. We go to the VA, we get certain things that some of them are like, okay. But when you go to Kaiser, it's like a circle of influence on their own. They run their own business. They run everything else, but it's like you're in a little pod. So, certain VAs, they take care of you. Certain don't. Kaiser, it's all politically correct. It's all corporate run. My point is this, right? And I know we both had our lifelong experiences of corporate America and the federal government. And here's how this affects the veterans, right? We don't get shit from both of them. We don't. We have to fend for ourselves. And the biggest thing is like how we met was, right, I'm trying to get service connected and high up there, right? And then prior to you, I never knew about service connectability. And guy was telling me, man, you're leaving money on the table. And a lot of guys say, I don't need it. When I talk to people about it, well, I don't need it. Give it to the other guy. I say, guys are idiots, man. We're in the middle of something that's very detrimental to us in the community. You got a lot of people that got their heads up their asses, right? And some of them, they let their ego speak louder than their words because they feel proud. And pride doesn't get you the quality of life and the cost of living that you need, right? I'm too good for this. And the other thing is, and I know because I come from an operational community. Some guys won't let go of that billet, man. They won't let go. Oh, you're not special forces. You're not special operators. You're not Mossad and Recon. Well, who gives a shit after 20 years, right? At the end of the day, Albert, and I know, right? We're Mr. Albert Winks and I'm Mr. Hiram Figueroa. So amongst the community itself, right, we're pretty cool. The point I'm making is that this long period of time since we've spoken, and since the last part that we talked about 5 or 6 years, the veteran community has lost themselves in transition. They're not taking an opportunity to stand for themselves. A lot of them are playing the veteran card. They're playing the victim card, right? They're playing the handout card. And then others that are very successful won't help the other fucking veterans. Not every veteran likes you, and not every veteran is going to help you. Now, Why do I say that? Now I'm currently the president of a nonprofit organization, Warrior Rescue, right? It's been around for 6 months. So our goal is to be the Amazon of all nonprofits because you know, and I know, you've been doing it in the medical field and everything, medical benefits. There's anywhere from 45,000 to 47,000 nonprofit organizations, right? Some of them are little VFWs that get their shit together and they hand out and they do everything. And some of them just know how to use the system and pay themselves and write it off, and they're not taking care of shit. So what we're doing right now is, you know, you've been doing your stuff for a while, and I've appreciate what you've done. I'm taking a part to my life, and my last third of life is that I've been a public servant for over 20 years. I've been on LinkedIn for 20 years, so we met and everything else. I've given my service as much as possible. At the end of the day, I got to learn how to pay myself. So that book speaks volumes of what you're talking about, right? Because at the end of the day, you know, you can't take it with you, but I'll be damned if you're busting your ass and giving knowledge away. You're giving knowledge away to help people out. It's time to get paid for it. And people don't understand is you got to be able to look at people like yourself and myself that we've done the walk. We know exactly what the battle tested situations are. I'm not going to sit there and give you a whole hour of my life for free, right? Especially if it's going to benefit you, unless there's certain circumstances. Everybody's looking out to make money off of everybody. And the reason why I say that is because it goes back to the nonprofits, to the for-profits, right? Hey, let's get together. Let's collaborate. You do something for me. I might do something for you. Back and forth. So for us and president of Warrior Rescue, you know, the CEO, Tony Perez, found this, right? Vietnam vet. So you know, and I know they're the last of the Mohicans left of up to bat. And so we're doing what we can to get veterans housing, you know, educate them, really educate them. Well, our goal is, you know, to be able to supersede this bullshit what we call TAPS, right? I'm talking to another guy that's on a different note. It's called Fuel, and his mantra. He's a civilian. He's a movie producer, right? He lives in here in California. He lives in Laguna Beach, and he's well connected, right? So he was telling me that when he reached out to me, just within the timing like you, that hey, I want to do Fuel because we want to take over the TAPS program because the TAPS program sucks. And it sucks because nobody has been out there battle tested to come back to work for the government to educate Albert Winks. Hey, before you go out, you need to plan out at least a year out or at least a minimum of 6 months to 3 to 6 months to be able to set yourself up for success. Don't have a discharge. Now, if you're jacked, you have other options to do. We don't have that. So there's a lot of things that were going on right now. I'm working with another guy. We're turned as far as the Camp Lejeune, you know, contamination stuff. This is big, bro. I can tell you, this is going to be big. And once we hit this, I can't disclose the process, but this process, I can tell you this, Albert, and for the audience. Once we make a stand for this, and we'll come back and visit you on this one because I'll reach out to you once we get an approve on this, because there's a lot of people involved. It's going to be big, not only for you and me, but for all the veterans, because you know about the water contamination over there in Lejeune. It's been going on for 35 years. It's $1 billion business. But guess what? Lawyers are out there like sharks going out there trying to pick and choose who they get and everything else. So the moral of the story is this. As an advocate for veterans and veterans' rights, you and me are doing what we need to do, right? Speak freely and matter of fact. From a business standpoint, we want to be able to mentor people and set them up for success, but nothing's for free. I'm not a priest. I'm not a missionary. I've done everything like that. I've given my time. It's time to pay myself because I got to take care of my family, just like you do, right? So for me, I look at it is that right now as being you can say an influencer in a sense for reminding people the veteran community is very prominent. The veteran community runs deep in generational factors, and the veteran community from homelessness and joblessness is astronomical. So my whole purpose today, having a conversation, is reconnecting with you, able to explain to people the dynamics of what kind of bullshit is going out there in the real world, because the news doesn't really want to tell you what's really going on. It's going to take a person like yourself and me that's been around there. And I'm talking 35 years of transition. I think I've survived enough. I haven't taken myself out. I'm not in jail. I'm not homeless. I'm not a drug addictor, right? I'm not an alcoholic. So for us, we're at that top 5% to be able to be a success. So for the audience is this, right? You got to know where you're at, what you're worth. If you want to be successful, surround yourself with people that have been able to elevate yourself. And I mean, elevate yourself in the sense like yourself, Albert. You've been around, we talked about, you've been able to elevate yourself to a point where you've been able to run your business, you're an entrepreneur and everything else, but you've had a battle-tested background of what's going on. And we've talked off the air, just like myself, right? But other people, if it doesn't affect them, it doesn't matter. And sometimes at the end of the day, we're right here at the holidays, Veterans Day, Marine Corps birthday. Everybody plays the holiday, hey, thank you for your service bullshit. That shit doesn't work for me anymore, man. And and I know, thank you for your service. The only thing I give the exceptions to is the people that are older, right? They're in their 80s or something like they come from a different generation. So people like that. But people between you and myself, oh, thank you for your service. That's something that, they can't figure out. They can't, it's pretty much an awkward conversation if they start talking to you and me. So right now, as the president of Warrior Rescue, we're doing everything possible to bring in awareness and see what we can do. But it's taking time. And the only problem I can tell you is this, bro. For all you people that have nonprofit organizations, here's the thing. You have board members. It's like this. Take action, shit will get off the pot, right? Some people just sit there because I'm a board member. I feel that I need to be validated and I can make an executive decision for the nonprofit organizations. But at the end of the day, what the hell are you doing for yourself and what are you doing for the community? Are you taking a course of action? Are you doing the lines of effort to execute what's going on? Are you making it a point that you're visible as a public figure, as a board member to say, hey, this guy is doing something? And I'm using this as an example, Albert, because that's how you and myself got reconnected again, right? And I appreciate you showing me, letting me be on the show. But a lot of people are just misunderstanding. It's like, I'm a veteran. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Let your actions speak louder than your words, right? Your character will speak louder based on when nobody's looking. But I tell you what, your integrity's got to be able to do that as well. And at the end of the day, if you ain't got no grits, and if you ain't got no gas in the tank, and if you ain't got no balls to be able to do shit, don't talk shit. So I'll give it back to you, bro.
No, definitely. And I really appreciate that last bit there, because that's something that it's I don't call it amazing, but it's interesting how even the best of the best are still humans and they're lazy. Human nature is to be lazy. I had a guy just today who he got on my calendar. He's got one of those like filters to where if he didn't save the number, then it goes to voicemail when I'm calling him and stuff, and he's not getting good comms. So he was on my calendar early this week, and we had to reschedule him for today. And then and he called me out of nowhere, and I even talked to him a couple of days ago. I was like, hey man, okay, I understand. I got a lot of clients around the world who they've got that same app. So just let's be squared away for our meeting on Friday. And when I say let's be, I mean you. I'm ready. I'm here. I know the shit. So I need you to show up. And even when people get on my calendar, they check boxes saying, I won't no show. I will be prepared. I will watch these videos and stuff like that. Because I, Albert, nor Hiram, have time to coddle your sorry ass. Pardon me. But, I love you guys, but at the same time, I cannot motivate, inspire, coddle. I got to get myself out of bed, and I am me. Hiram, did I wake you up this morning, or did you wake yourself up? Okay, fine.
I work up.
So you don't lean on me to wake you up every day and go, Hiram, it's wakey time. No, you get up and you should fucking show up. Here's my point back to something you said. I have hosted Town Hall Tuesday for over a year because I wanted a place to where people, my clients or people who are confused about something, every single week. I think we've only maybe canceled 1 or 2 in a year. That's it. And that was like weather or internet went out or something, or I was on vacation or whatever. And even at that, we say if there's anything, we have a LinkedIn group for our clients, and it's a last comms area to be like, if something isn't working, if Albert's internet goes out or Albert gets in a car wreck, here's at least some comms, a good way for us to have good comms. So my point is, even though people talk shit about me on social media, because that's what human nature is.
Yeah.
I'm out in front of people every single Tuesday, and you would think that if I get such bad press on, some dickheads can go out there and say shit about me. Do you know how many of them ever show up to town hall and talk to me to my face on camera that's recorded? Do you know how many have ever showed up? Fucking zero, because they're losers. That's who they are. And I guarantee it's probably some fucking robot or something out there going, let's put bad press out there for people who are doing good shit.
Well, it's to your point, Albert. Look, keyboard warriors, keyboard fighters, right? MMA fighters. Then you can shit talk all in. Look, I can tell you, right? I won't mention a SEAL, but this guy was talking major shit. And I went to the SHOT Show, right? Mm-hmm. I went to the SHOT Show, the guy, and I went over there, and and if nobody know where the SHOT Show is, it's pretty much in Vegas. They have it every March, right? They have they have guys that have been out there fighting, and you got some top tier, special forces, recon, SEAL guys, SEAL Team 6 guys. Well, this guy was a SEAL, right? This guy is always being on the podcast. He's always advertising that his shit don't stink. So to make a long story short, the guy kind of talks shit about me, right? Because I'm an old man and recon. So, I decided to show up to the fucking show, right? I found the fucking booth. And the guest speaker was O'Neill, the guy that took out Osama, right? And this guy's walking around and he's saying, when I look at the dude, the motherfucker is, how you call it, like 5'6", 5'5", right? Little short dude. He looks at me and his mouth drops, right? What's my point? My point is, be careful when you say, the best way I can say is fuck around and you'll find out, right? Fuck around and you'll find out. So I went there because I had my other buddy, Rudy Reyes, out there doing the stuff. But I decided to find this guy because the guy was shit. And my point is this, just because you're in special operations, and it doesn't mean you're fucking above the law, right? And doesn't mean that you're not capable of getting your ass kicked, right? And you're not capable of getting your ass confronted by somebody else because you decided to go another level. And just because you're on that tier 1 level doesn't mean you have the right to talk shit about somebody else. Fuck that, right? So when he saw me, he was like surprised, right? And everything else. And he was surprised of my physical stature. Now, listen, this is where I'm getting at, right? Right? You don't know who you're dealing with until you meet them in person. It goes back to the Town Hall Tuesday, right? People talk shit. They don't know you. They don't know the background. And now, when we have that come to Jesus meeting, when we meet up front, now we get to see eye to eye. Now we get to feel your vibe. Now we get to see what you're really all about. Let's get away from the profile. Let's get away from the virtual Zooms and social media. Let's talk real shit, right? So this guy was pretty much speechless for about 5 minutes, right? So my point is this, bro. Here's the thing that people are they're misunderstanding the thing. If we're doing this, is because we know what it is. unless you can fucking do this better, then show up and put up and let us learn from you, because you ain't got shit to say. And the thing about it is everybody's got shit to say because they're, couch quarterbacks. They're quarterbacking from the outside. They're fucking offensive, technicians and defensive technicians. I saw it. It's after the fact, bro.
Monday morning quarterback bullshit.
It's after the fact. We're in the heat of the moment, right? You can't take back what you just said. You can't take back what you just did, right? And the thing about it is, the circle of influence. Nobody gives a fuck about your circle of influence. At the end of the day, there's people like you and me that give a fuck because we've been there, right? We're the product of the product to be able to survive and do what we need to do. These other people that feel like they got too much time on their hands, when you mention something that's pretty much point, Albert, wake up, it's time to get in there, don't miss your appointment. That's what happens when you got too much fucking free time and you ain't got a fucking purpose. You ain't got a motherfucking purpose on you there. As a drill instructor, I learned a lot. And, in the infantry, I learned a lot. Even though I was an admin guy, one thing I can honestly say that stays true to my heart. When I joined in the late 70s, I was dealing with the guys from Vietnam War. I was in fucking Okinawa. These fucking guys were coming back and they were going berserk. I learned a lot from the veterans, the Vietnam veterans, and those guys were still in the recon units. So their standards and their culture still sticks with me of how I conduct myself. Now, can I say I was the fucking best fucking Marine? Fuck no. I was like a shitbird for a little bit, I was a fucking shitbird. I was that 20% that gave 80% of the fucking problems, right? But I was fucking immature because I was fucking 17 at the time. So I just decided to fucking grow up in the Marine Corps. Now fucking going back, 50 years, 40 years later, it's time to fucking grow up, and man up. So what's happening is you're having the same problems as I'm having with people fucking giving me too many reasons and not enough fucking results. Everything else. People want to reach out and DM me. Hey, can you do this for me? Can you do that? I said, no. Why should I do this on my platform? What am I getting out of it? Is it a mercy mission? Or you just want to ride on the cloud coattails of myself just to see that your shit's fucking getting, clicks on it? Fuck that. I'm not doing that. So when you and me are talking about that, we have something in common. We, regardless of the branch, we're both like-minded. We see things with what we're at. But the biggest thing is we know what we're talking about. And then if a shit talker is going to shit, and, you might as well don't write any checks you can't cash, bro. Because if you're going to say something, stand up to it. It's all about integrity. And I think that a lot of people are missing in today's society, especially now, bro, with the cost of living, with things are going out there. People are not, our society is so distorted and they lack the priorities. We're fucking getting left behind. I'll use this example and I'll put that out there. During the beginning of the 2 years, this fucking border shit that was happening? That fucking FEMA money went straight to them. Now these motherfuckers are just recanting the shit. Now, nobody wants to believe that shit, but that shit is dirty, right? And I can tell you this part, that FEMA money didn't go where it's supposed to go in the East Coast. That FEMA money was already asked for. So, Albert and the audience, how the fuck do you expect us to feel when somebody that's illegal alien is getting anywhere from $7,000 to $8,000 of government stipend money, a cell phone, and a one-way ticket, round ticket to travel? And then they want to give them the opportunity to enlist as well, and then make them a citizen. So, I got buddies at the Border Patrol and Custom Border Protection. They're just covering their ass, man, but they're overwhelmed. So when we talk about bullshit stories where people they can't back up their stories, facts tell, stories sell. So it's the bullshit, it's all over the fucking place. So, you know, people like you and me, we know what's going on. And we're pretty much well connected with the circle of influence of people that are not in the news, but they know more about anybody else. My good friend, Sean Ryan, I met him fucking 3 years ago. And look what the fuck he's doing. He's killing it. He's fucking killing it.
I'll get
Nobody,
you connect with him. I'll tell you what here shortly. Go ahead, keep going.
yeah. Here's the thing, my story. I met him 3 years ago, right? Got on LinkedIn and everything else, shared his shit. He wasn't having it. Guess what? He created his fucking YouTube channel and his everything else, and the guy's fucking killing it. But I'm not mad at him. But you know, he's telling the truth, and we're both like Christians. So you know, we had our religious beliefs, but we decided to follow the right because he saw some shit like I did. So go ahead, Albert.
Well, yeah. So about Sean too. So that's also one of the reasons why my book is delayed. Is we want to try to get somebody like Sean. So I've got my marketing firm, or the firm, yeah, my marketing firm does work with a guy that he's a comedian. I forget his last name, but John's his first name. But anyway, he was on Sean's show not too long ago, promoting his comedy tour. And one of the main things we're trying to do is get, because as you're talking about taps and everything, that what I've been told by a lot of my clients, special operations or not, that obviously tap sucks, and we as veterans, we need more visibility. So one of the reasons why I'm purposely delaying the actual physical launch of my book is I want to have somebody like Sean Ryan or somebody who has a bigger audience than me, you know, help me grow, help me get more people looking at the book, and have them write a forward for the book. So we're aiming for, I've got a connection to TIG, a couple others, but anyway, yeah. So Sean Ryan, I would love to get connected with him as quickly as humanly possible.
Hey, another guy that I could tell you that he's like a brother from another mother, man. He's a sniper. He's from the recon community, and he was in SEAL teams, and he was in SEAL Team 6. I've seen him. He's the founder of Veteran Child Rescue, right? My buddy's Craig Sorman.
Yeah, Saw Man or something like that, right?
Yeah. I know the guy, and look, I'm gonna tell you something. The guy was a U.S. Marshal, and the guy worked in the government, and the guy knows everything about human trafficking. Knows everything.
I saw some of his documentary, and I've got kids. Oh my god! I still haven't finished it. I haven't finished it because I just can't. Sometimes you just don't want to see what you know is real, and that dude is doing some really good shit, taking out fucking bad dudes. And
this guy knew about Epstein. And the reason why I'm saying this shit, he knew about this shit with Epstein, and he knew about. And let me put it to you this way, because I love him like a brother, and I'll, you know, he's one of them ride or die guys. You know, he calls me, he lives in fucking Tucson, but if he needs fucking something, I'll go fucking handle it. And you know, his daughter was subjected to this human trafficking. So there's a backstory to this shit, right? So he doesn't care. And the guy is raised by he was the son of a preacher, right? So when you're talking about guys with this much visibility, right, and that pretty much has been able to do something out there, is those are the type of guys I need to be, that I'm around with. Those are the guys that they just do their shit quietly and they put it out there. Everybody wants to be out there and do a post or do a quick clip of themselves and expect to get likes. But you know, numbers don't lie, right? The numbers are the numbers. You can't beat the numbers, and the numbers can't beat you. But at the end of the day, who is your supporting cast in the background that you're really saying like, hey, call me when you're done. Hey, meet me over here. Let's do this shit. Let's fly over here and let's handle this bullshit. Very far and few in between. There's a lot of people in the veteran community that are not virtually popular. They are doing some serious damage. And they're doing some serious damage because they don't want to be part of this, you know, virtual social media cloud influencer shit. Now, some will, some won't, some will do it. But guys like you and me, we kind of fall into this stuff, right? I fell into this stuff by accident as an influencer. You know, it's like, hey, do this, and I just started to give back, and I'm stuck with it because I feel it's an obligation. I think that's a calling from the man upstairs to be able to give back, because at the end of the fucking day, when I fucking check out, I want to be going upstairs. I don't want to be fucking hanging around with these guys and saying, you didn't do what I asked you to do. You didn't do what I gave you to do. You chose to go a different direction. And here's the other thing, Albert, correct me if I'm wrong. These motherfuckers, these veterans, he or she's, both females, right? Men or female,
Mm-hmm.
they have that fucking blessing of choice, right? They choose what they want to do. They chose. They can either help themselves or fucking leave themselves to play victim. It's a choice. It's a choice of what they want to fucking do. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, when something happens to them, they want people like you and me to fucking clean up their bullshit. And it's not fucking happening. So
I need to find, I was even thinking of it this morning, but there's a book out there, and this guy was preaching about it, and I can't remember all the personalities. He was talking about 4 personalities, and I was even trying to search for it this morning, so I'll try to see if I can find it before this goes live next week. But it talked about, for people like me and you, okay, if you got God is real and the devil is real, good and evil, okay. And there's 4 personalities. There's like things like lazy or just straight up delusional, that kind of stuff. And he says, one of the things that guys like me and you have a hard time with is like, you know, my daily prayer is very simple. My daily prayer is, God, Father, put me where you need me and give me the strength to fucking handle it. That's all I ask of you. And so he says, for people like you who are running into like, man, I really want to help this guy, but he's just not helping himself, and he wants me or Hiram to hold his hand and carry him, you know, all that kind of stuff. There comes a point to where you go, I'm not quitting on you, fella, lazy guy or delusional guy, but I'm turning you over to God. Because I've done all I can. I've got, because going back to what you said, Hiram, 80-20 rule. And I've realized that in 6 years of delivering money to my clients is that I don't go by, I don't get like awestruck by people. I don't care about football. I don't care about baseball. I like my clients, and I like that I'm around the deadliest humans on earth. But they're human too, and they've got faith. And I've got one Delta client who one of my staff didn't know that he was Delta, and he kept on camera, and I said, hey, I'm just letting you guys know that Delta is not only deadly, they are nice as fuck. And this guy is always nice. Because another Delta guy out there said something about kindness. It is so hard to be kind. And as you were talking about some clickbait, I wrote down the words hate bait. Yeah. I never have heard that term. So I wrote it down, and I was like, oh, I got to memorize this. So I put it down to my staff, that the devil just thrives on fucking hate. And God is love. And something that people don't understand much is that what makes our Father happy is knowing that we are bringing joy to others. And that's why I am on camera all the time with my clients, is because even though we're going through emotional highs and lows, I'm bringing joy to others. And that's why I can, through my faith, let the negative roll off of me and go, okay, God, that one's yours. It's hard to do. It's you can only take one. You only get today. Every day I wake up and I go, thank you for yesterday. Thanks for today. And that's in my book too. Like, hey, God, put me where you need me, and just give me the strength to fucking handle it. And go see and be seen. Like, this is not easy for Hiram and I to talk about this shit, but you have to know that you're not here to shoot yourself in the face. You're not here to inject needles into your arm. You're not here to beat your wife. You're here to do awesome stuff. And Hiram said it right. You got a fucking choice. You just may be on a different timeline than what Hiram says or what I say, or you have a different frequency. Maybe you like to be beat down and that kind of thing. And I'm not that dude. But I'm also not going to coddle you and come and wake you up and shake you out of bed. You have to motivate and inspire yourself. And so anyway, but
it's like Jocko. Look, Look, Albert, I love Jocko, right? And I follow him, right? I don't give a shit what anybody says, but the guy has been able to do a lot of shit, right? It's just a key, his fucking key phrase: discipline equals fucking freedom, right? And fucking a lot of people don't pay it. And I share this with the faith, right? Because I'm a Catholic kid from New York. But guess what? You know, you're forced into the religion, you're going to rebel. You're going to fucking rebel. You're going to check out. You're going to do that. So for the majority of my time, I was a shitbird in every aspect of life, right? Lied, did everything else. It wasn't until shit was not going right that I had to get my shit together. And I'm talking, you know, from having married several times to living with different women to fucking cheating, doing all this shit. And I said to myself, man, it was a point in my life where, and this is where I was going through this transition because I was lost. I was lost and I had too much fucking pride and I was pissed, right? Because I felt abandoned. And the only thing is, people, they go through all these emotions, but they forget that the man upstairs is just fucking watching you to wait to see if you're going to come to him. He ain't going to fucking ask you to come. So a poignant part, right? You know, I go to Harvest Riverside, Greg Laurie, right? The guy's been fucking popular for a long time. So he made this movie, The Jesus Revolution. And I think what got me back was that poignant movie, Jesus Revolution. And there's a segment where, you know, we went to Pirates Cove and get baptized. So I did all that stuff. I went, got back, I reconnected fellowship. I got baptized in the same fucking beach over there in Pirates Cove with Greg Laurie and his son. So that rebirth told me that I'd have another opportunity to get my shit together. And I was mentored by pastors that have been able to see the evolution of everything else. So when I do stuff like on LinkedIn, I still put scriptures because all you motherfuckers are forgetting that at the end of the day, you're all going to check out. And the man upstairs is waiting for your ass to see what kind of fucking excuse you're going to bring to the table when he already fucking knows. So when guys like you and me or women that are out there busting our ass or doing what we are, and people are just living the world like, I don't want to talk to fucking Albert. He's full of shit anyway. You know, he don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Fucking Hiram's always doing this, but you know, why is he putting all this propaganda shit? Well, fucker, you're too busy fucking passing judgment on me. Where the fuck are you at on this fucking dilemma? Where the fuck did you park your spaceship this morning to know where fucking galaxy you're in, right? So my whole thing is that people need to get real with themselves, right? I think the biggest thing for you and me, Albert, is that we see the bullshit. And the problem is people that are too busy giving us the bullshit don't want to accept that their own bullshit is fucking fake. So that's what's going on, you know? I hope that makes sense.
Let me swing this to a positive too. So if knowledge is power, so I've now got a playlist on my YouTube and Rumble. And so we used to call it number 1 video, number 2 video, but we've now updated to where it's step 1, step 2, that kind of thing. Just so It's clear, like, okay, where am I starting step 1? So I know you guys have heard me say that I've delivered over $10 billion in 6 years and stuff, but $10 billion is not fucking shit. So I'm going to say, here's why. I'm going to swing it to a positive. I'm going to tell you some negatives just so you know the reality of what's out there. It took me 5 years to get to $10 billion. Not my 10 billion, delivering 10 billion. And which it sounds like a terrific number. Not too shabby for a small business. I've got how many staff? 4 or 5, something like that. And getting all the way to SEAL teams in Delta and MARSOC. And it would shock you if you knew the clients I've got. Anyway, point being, $10 billion is not fucking shit. When I'm going to tell you what the government is stealing from our veterans per fucking month, it's $50 billion a month, at least. And I'm being very conservative. $50 billion a month. the government is not only stealing, but I'm going to put an emotional word, betraying us.
Yep.
They're stealing and they're fucking betraying us because they want us to kill ourselves. That's it. Just like Dan Bongino talks about. Why do they do this? Well, because they fucking want to. Why don't they do this? Why doesn't the government do good things? Because they don't fucking want to. So now that you know that, I'm going to tell you a good thing. There's more jobs out there than you've ever seen before. And they are life-changing jobs. Guys like Hiram and I who've worked with corporate and all that kind of stuff in the government, you're never going to get, let's say, I don't call it rich, enriched. You may have money, but you're never going to be fulfilled. That's why I call this what it is. You're never going to be fulfilled just by, I've heard it many times before, well, I was a ranger and getting dog shit pay in the Army, and it was pretty cool working for Amazon, getting paid 6 figures and stuff. I've told that story many times. So, but what happens to that guy? He gets fucking pissed and he doesn't want to do that anymore. And it just loses its luster because he's not cool anymore. He's not a ranger anymore. Where you're going to make big fucking money is because a new guy that just came on board with me as a 1099 contracted, I call it force multiplier, which is part of my marketing team. Weird small story, but a guy that he used to send referrals to is a guy that I helped get to 100% my first year. and so the guy just asked me the other day, he said, hey, Albert, do you feel like there's any kind of conflict or is this competition? Do you feel bad about having me on board underneath you as you know about this other guy? And I said, man, let me tell you some stats that I'm going to tell everybody right now. $10 billion ain't shit. $50 billion is where I'm aiming for. I want to get the government this big ass check over my left shoulder. That needs to go to where it's supposed to fucking belong. And the government's the one that's in the way of it. Every single year, 200,000 new veterans are not on the streets, but out of the military. And that's just normal attrition. 200,000. Hiram, do you have 200,000 clients? I don't have 200,000 clients. Hiram, do you want to help 200,000 veterans? Do you want to be right there before the fucking door, at the door, after the door, and know that you're setting people up for fucking...
Hold on.
Fuck yeah.
Hold on just a minute. That's me.
Perfect timing for a pause. Hiram's right there kicking down doors right now. He's at the door, through the door. Now he's coming back to the door. Perfect analogy.
Go ahead, bro.
But that's my point. 200,000 veterans a year. And that's just normal every single year moving forwards. That doesn't count oh my gosh, like you said, I've got clients who are Vietnam. So that's what you said there. You got the last of the Mohicans are fucking Vietnam dudes now. I've got a lot of clients that are from Hiram's era. You would think that most of my clients are 20s and 30s, but they're 40s, 50s, even 60s, because they now feel their body talks to them every day. Oh man, my knee's jacked up, my head's jacked up, my neck's jacked up. I need to talk to somebody about getting some healthcare. You know what's funny too? People get on my calendar on or amazingly close to their birthday. And that happens every single day that I'm talking to folks. Because there's a time, it's divine intervention on or close to your birthday, that you're self-aware. And that's on my website now too, is number one, I keep calling it number one. Step one is pay yourself first. And I talk about that in step one, pay yourself first. Even if you don't work with me, know that you can start your back pay clock and go find somebody else if you want to work with somebody else. Unfortunately, you're going to find out that somebody else sucks and you're going to come work with me. So pay yourself first. Then it takes you into the next video, which says knowledge is power. So my point back to you guys is, if you don't know, let me say it this way. I'm going to go back to Hiram's.
I'm listening.
Our terms of like betrayal. I think people don't dig because they don't want to find the betrayal. Would you agree with me on this, Hiram? That even if you're like 50% or 70 or even 100, you go, well, I don't want to poke the bear. I don't want to dig deeper because I don't want that. I don't want the American dream to kick me in the fucking nuts, but it's going to. Like Hiram said, you only have, if you I have a big calendar on my wall over here. If we had a life calendar of how many days, weeks, whatever in the fuck you want, months that you want to put on your calendar, how much time do you think you got left? I'm 44, maybe 40 years. All my older clients would say, they all tell me to tell you guys, do this while you're young. Get your fucking money while you're young. At least you have abundance, then you can figure out how to spend your money. Not for the rest of your life have that fucking rock in your shoe of, well, I know there's money out there, and I know I signed a contract with Uncle Sam. Because do you know how many clients I get that say shit like that? They go, well, Albert, I haven't done anything in 10 years or 20 or 25 years. I've never done anything. Well, no better time than the fucking present. And so no matter how much money you guys have out there, you can't buy back fucking time.
Let me share something with you, right? You make a valid point. How old are you now?
44.
So you're like close to my son's age. My son is fucking 42, right? And so my son's not in the military, but here's the thing. I was fucking pretty dumb on this shit because I just had a kid, and a lot of fucking people don't get it. You know, you join the military, girl says you're cute, I love you. Next thing you know, you have a kid, you're fucked, and next thing you know, you're more or less you're trying to make ends meet on the government salary, right? But you still have a long life obligation. So as a father, I'm grateful that, you know, two things. I'm kind of like, I wish I had the balls to be able to be a man's man on that and be a father, right? But I was an absent father, right? And so when I see people like yourself, right, you have a different perspective of things, but we're still like-minded. Now, you just made a point. You're 44. I turned 65 in 2 months. You got fuckers my age that are still fucking holding on to shit. Albert, when I was your age, I used to do this. Well, fuck you. You're speeding up the fucking process. You're fucking letting the old man in, and you're not doing shit. You know you gotta last. You're on the clock, right? You're fucking on the clock. You're losing fucking time because you're not maximizing the purpose of what's going on, right? So you make a valid point about what we need to get after it. And then people go like this, well, you should fucking retire. Retire to do what? Wait to die? I live in the fucking senior citizen community, right? It's a nice fucking community in California. It's behind the golf course. I got these fuckers riding around in $4,000, $5,000 fucking golf carts playing fucking golf with fucking Tommy Bahama fucking shirts and fucking New Balances and khakis, but they fucking look like old shit. I am not that guy that's going to sit there and fucking wait to die. And then they fucking look at me and they start hating me because I'm not that fucking guy. So what's the moral of the story, Albert, right? You and myself, different generations, same fucking mission, same mindset. Too many fuckers are making excuses. Well, you don't understand me. Well, fuck, you're not made to understand. Help me help you to understand you. And maybe we'll get shit together. Right? They don't fucking get it. They don't fucking understand that shit. I need you to understand it. You say, what are you telling me? You're a fucking alpha dog based on your fucking mouth? Show me your alpha dog experience by fucking putting in some work. Right? People, you're offending me. I feel offended. Is that the type of vocabulary? Albert, at the end of the fucking day, everybody fucking curses. Everybody has to say things. The only thing that they do is when they go to church, they dress up and they become prim and proper to show the devil that they're going to church when they're full of shit. So you and myself, and we'll continue to stay together and on this because I'm glad that you reached out to me because it's an honor. But it goes to show that when you have people that are like-minded and you've been disconnected for a period of time, right? It helps people to reconnect and sharpen their tools. And it's like you didn't miss a step, you know? So, you know, people need to get their shit together, man. They really they need to get this shit together. And fucking guys are crying all fucking day for bullshit. Tedious bullshit. Be grateful you're fucking walking and talking. Be grateful you got a fucking roof over your head. Be grateful you have a car. Who gives a fuck if it's fucking expensive? Nobody gives a shit. You're trying to impress poor people that don't fucking like you, right? And you got food in your table, and be grateful for the legacy that your family left and everything else. All those little things right now, they're insignificant. So when we're talking about business, this is what we can support our story, if that makes sense. Go ahead, bro.
So I told you things go fast. We're now in the second hour. So we got 40 more minutes left, 30 more minutes left, somewhere around there. So I want to turn this back to a positive, friend, and hand it back over to you. So I know you mentioned about taps. So we've talked about some problems. You're a solution. So tell me what you're excited about that's on your calendar that you've got that's a solution to help out more people. Because I want them to start knowing about it and obviously following your socials and all that kind of stuff too.
So here's what's going on, right? And I know you want to get positive, and I appreciate it, because this is about the most freest conversation I've been able to have without Big Brother watching me. So I got together with a movie producer. There's 2 movie producers that are generating Fuel. Fuel is going to be a military version of Netflix, where we provide things, right? So this whole project is under development, and I can just share with you with that. Just look out for Fuel. It's going to be something like a military version of Netflix, and we're going to be able to do some programs and everything else, and have people with history like you and me to be able to have a conversation and say, how do we support this project, and how do veterans, when they come to us, what do we bring to the table that are transferable skills from a communication standpoint and from a labor of love standpoint to help you set up for success. And the other thing is, hey, if you got people like you and me doing Fuel, we'll use it as an example and take over TAPS. Nobody can give us bullshit. It's like fucking going to AA. Where's your 12-step program? You're full of shit. You haven't done it. So this is a program that's still in the making. And I can tell you this, man. There's an Army Ranger, right, that's in the Pentagon, right? I'm not going to tell his name, but he's part of this process. And he wants this bad because he sees it. Yeah. And it's going to take cats like you and me to be able to infiltrate this, so we can set the record straight, and everybody can run to, I don't like the way Albert talks, or Hiram. He doesn't make any sense. Bro, we've both been alive to see what's going on. We've both been successful, and people don't understand. Here's the thing, Albert. The meaning of success is not monetary. It's quality of life, able to have your faculties, able to have a direction. Well, you're like me right now. Able to have some direction, right? Have a purpose, right? Have the quality of life, and be able to be a public servant without giving your soul away, right? And so that's where we're at with this, man. And he's looking to for 2025. When it comes out, you'll be the third one to know. So it's like that's what we're going on with. So people need to get off the ladder on taps, right? Tap, I think, not a problem. So you were like me in the beginning, as the phone was ringing and I had people knocking on the door. So Fuel will be a version, a digital version, an upgrade version of Taps. Taps came up in the freaking 90s, dude.
Yeah, it's been a while. I was in 98 to 2000, but then once with the RTC got 6-year break in service. I didn't mention that earlier, but anyway, yeah. So I've been out twice.
But it's still the same format, and nothing has been re-evaluated. Nothing has been upgraded. There's no love language to be able to communicate to today's veterans that need that, to eliminate the trigger points to help people set up for success. So if you're looking to do something like that for the audience out there,
Yeah.
I recommend you reach out to Albert. And if
Mhm.
you really want to have a come to Jesus meeting and talk about what we can provide, just reach out to us. That's the way I look at it.
So I'm excited to tell you that I've got multiple people that even I've interviewed for my books, and it's on film, so Rachel and I can go back and find them. But like Rachel knows a guy local here to Indianapolis who does a lot of documentaries. He's civilian side, but he's got multiple Emmy awards for I think he's got like a dozen of them. It's insane, and he's in fucking Indiana. So, like I told you, I think before, my briefing to you before we got on camera that one of my guys that I recently interviewed, he's now the military advisor for like the East Coast Hollywood, if you want to call it that, and he's doing a lot more with that too. I've got oh my gosh, multiple people. I've got a director from Savannah, Georgia, who he wants to be the Steven Spielberg or whatever a veteran, but a veteran version of that. So I love that we're able to say things like, "Hey, we're going to be the veteran Netflix." Okay, I mean, it just makes sense. The veteran Amazon or conservative Amazon, those sorts of things, those exist, and that's what I'm talking about with you guys as empires. Is for the other people out there, listen to the ideas that are already happening and already in the works. And some people are already multiple years into it. How do you get 12 fucking Emmys? Well, you've been doing it for a while. There's an organization out there, Hiram, if you don't know about it, is merging vets and players, and they've got two founders, and one of the founders was a Green Beret, and he also played in the NFL. Long story short, but a lot of these guys are, like you said, Rangers, and actually a producer and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of these guys are doing wearing a lot of different hats. So they've got, they also had a movie come out 2 years ago, and it's weird to say, but there's a lot of, well, I'll say it this way. We're so used to cameras now. Like, I got two of them right here, this way facing and that way facing. I got one right there. I got another one right there, one right there. I got other ones. I got microphones all around me. We're comfortable playing a role or having cameras pointed at somebody or ourselves to a certain degree. And I think you're going to see a hell of a lot more of that. I think the old school devilish Hollywood is going to go out of style fast. And I think we're going to have it's already trending. I'm seeing it. And it has been for a couple of years. Like we talk about documentaries and stuff. And I mean, there's producers out there. There's like the whole gamut of people who can do it. And I'm really excited that I think in the next couple of years, you're going to see, I know Atlanta is now known as like another kind of Hollywood thing for other folks out there and that kind of thing. But I think you're going to find, like, I don't know, maybe fucking Nebraska turns out to be the Hollywood for veterans or something like that. I don't know. Something's happening right now. And I mean, Rumble came out of I like that. I'm going to go back to TAPS in the civilian community. Here's what the government fucks everything up. Everything they touch, they don't make anything. They all they do is fucking take, and they don't do any good. And then when they do a shitty job, that allows them to take more fucking money. So from us, and that's fucking stupid. So I think all of us veterans especially are going, you know what? I'm done with all that crap. The American dream, our father's abundance is here. Let's go fucking make it and not let other people take it from us anymore. I think we're now people talk about like global, was it World War III? Motherfucker, if China does something to Taiwan, who gives a shit? Right now, we're in like a third revolution for our own fucking country. We have tyranny at every fucking corner. And those of us who have sworn to the Constitution, we know what that means. We know what again, knowledge is power. Ignorance is whatever you want to call it, bliss. That's fucking stupid. Knowledge is power.
Here's what I got for you, right? What you're starting to see is a regenification of the glitz and glamour, right? I'll start with what's happening in Hollywood. People, it's moved out. It's not what it used to be. You know about the P. Diddy situation with all that stuff going on. Everybody's undercover. So, you know, what God says, what's in the dark will come into the light, right? Gives us an opportunity to be able to reinvent ourselves. And you're right. Who's to say that Nebraska or somewhere in the Midwest could be the new Hollywood? Who's to say that? Everything is changing for the dynamics. This has been planned for a number of years before you and I were born, right? It's like Nostradamus' predictions and everything else. But people don't get it because they don't see the changes of what's going on. And if you see the changes, then you just won yourself the survivability of getting into the change versus getting blindsided and being in denial. And I believe that for us is a great opportunity for you, myself, and other individuals that we have the circle of influence to be able to take back stuff. But here's the thing, man. Tyranny is out there, man. Like, no, this is like Starbucks. It's all over the place. And people don't get it. And then, you know, with the politics and the election year right now, it doesn't help the situation because at the end of the day, when that shit's over with, we got another 4 years of what the hell's going to happen to us, right? And everybody's living in the moment, but they're not seeing the big picture. So I get it, you know, I get it. Just want to let you know. So go ahead, bro.
No, it's good stuff, and I appreciate that. And I think that you and I are on the same page with that. That yeah, there's good. Good always comes from bad, but guys like us were survivors, and the people out there that are listening to this, you guys are survivors, and it's weird to say, but like I'm excited for that next that next thing because it's coming. And what I think, going back to your word that you said a while back was pride. I think our pride gets in the way so much, and I'm a sinner too. I mean, it happens. I'm not fucking perfect. Hiram's not perfect. We're not preaching perfection. We're preaching actually imperfection. That hey, your imperfections are a way for you're like a song out there says scars tell you that your past is real. Yeah, your past is real, but our Father says, do abundant things, do good things, bring joy to others. Like good stuff is there. He doesn't expect perfection, but do something. And I think that our pride gets in the way. And so many times I hear that. And I use a line like, don't let your pride get in the way of your fucking paycheck, man. Just go get paid. Go get paid for the shit you were promised months, years, or decades ago. Go get your fucking money. Do your thing. Make your mark. Be who you're here to be. How fucking hard is that? Look, Hiram, look what I'm wearing. I call it my PJs. I get to put my fucking PJs on every day. And
well, look at the backdrop. I'm normally in my house, but I'm here at work. But here's the thing, man. Here's the problem that people are misunderstanding, right? They get on a plane. They trust the pilot, right? No problem. They get in an Uber. They trust the driver, right? They go and see a doctor. They go and see medical care, but they trust the doctor. But they can't trust us, and they can't trust God. And here's the other thing. Everybody's got fucking issues, but when you got two people that are having issues with themselves, they create the perfect relationship, right? And they don't get it, right? So everybody's got issue. What's a perfect relationship? You tell me what's a perfect relationship. People are looking while we get along each other and say, bullshit. It's like this. My wife, she gets dressed up and everything else. We've been married for like 13 years, right? They look at, she's beautiful. And I go like this. Yeah, she's beautiful because she's standing there. She took 2 hours to get ready. She took another hour to get ready. So it's 3 hours of my life. Do me a favor. What? Look at your wife next time and see if she's beautiful when she wakes up with none of that stuff, right? What's the point? The point is a relationship. It's good from the good to the bad and to the ugly. People are making bad business decisions based on emotion, Albert. They are. They let their pride. That's what I'm saying. The pride, they're making bad business decisions based on emotion. You can't do that. And what happens is their feelings get in the way of a lot of things. Sometimes your feelings are not the right things that's telling you what's going on. You have to look at it objectively. What does that take? You have to be around people that can hold you for accountability from a constructive standpoint. And what's happening is that people are not willing to be around people that are willing to hold them accountable. And that's why you're having a shit show of a society right now, not only from the veteran community, but from corporate America and even in the religious community, because we have these fake ass Christians and these fake ass Bible holders that'll talk shit to you in a sermon, but they be doing their dirty shit in the dark and they'll throw shade. So, you know, you and myself, we have a purpose. We have what we need to do. But I think what people are missing is the real talk about what the fuck's going on, you know? So that's what I got to
I'm
say.
glad you used the word accountability. You'll love this. So when I created my LLC, and I was aiming for the title and the fulfilled veteran project, and what are my 3 pillars? So my 3 pillars that have been out there this whole time, and I even put them back up on my new website. My 3 pillars are: I want to increase your predictability, your profitability, and your accountability. That's what I do. And that's been the 3 pillars. It's been my slideshow, my briefings that I give. And I got to a point where I was like, wow, I need to put that on my website. And just, that's what it is on the very beginning of my website now. They look at it and go, what's this? Oh, predictability, profitability, accountability. Yep. Because what's crazy is, man, even though I've done this 6 years, and what's funny, good funny, is I'm way more fucking motivated now than I've ever been before. Because I think I'm like any other, I don't call it influencer, but like, Sean Ryan's and then Dan Bongino's or whatever, that I'm in my lane and I know my fucking lane. I couldn't have imagined it. And what's crazy is every single day, even I know Hiram was having some comm issues before the call, and even I was offering to reschedule because I want to make sure our comms are clear. And I couldn't have imagined that today would go as well as it did. So it's such a blessing having guys like you on here, and it just, and I always want that message to get out clear and crisp. That's why I was willing to reschedule. But like, fucking hell, man, like I would much rather sit for 2 hours with you than not.
Well, yeah.
So,
no, man, it's real. It's like, look, same thing with me, right? I parked myself on LinkedIn for the last 20 years, right? Oh, you doing? And then, they look at my following. I had like 175,000, but then I lost like 50,000 because of the Biden situation, Sleepy Joe. And like Big Brother just like took that shit. But here's the thing, right? I've been on this thing for 20 years. I must be doing something right. When you say stay in your lane, right? I give kudos to Sean Ryan. I give kudos to people like you. I give kudos to like Sawman. I got another buddy of mine. I got 2 buddies of mine. I got my buddy Fred Galvin, Force Recon guy, Mossad guy, wrote the book Few Bad Men. That thing's going to be coming out pretty soon as a documentary. This is real shit. That's how the Marine Corps eats their own, and they sacrifice us for the sake of the public for war crimes, right? I got this. Yeah, I got Scott Huston's a good buddy of mine. So he was a field grade officer. He was out here in California. He wrote book in Ramadi, right? Echoes of Ramadi and Echo 24. So these are guys that I love very much. I got another lady, Amy Forsythe. She's a public relations officer in the Navy, but we keep her out of the loop because she's still serving. But when you talk about people like that, they have a purpose, right? They have everything else. They have accountability. So when you're around people like that, you support them. And here's the biggest thing that I can share with you that was pretty much when you mentioned the Mossack community. They had this situation with the Mossack 3. I knew 3 of them. They were up for general court-martial. They went for general court-martial. This is when, shit happened in Afghanistan. Fight broke out. One of my buddies, he's like a brother to me. And he clipped him and the guy died, right? But the guy was drunk. He was a contractor. Well, fucking the Marine Corps, the fucking general, the commanding officer wanted to take their insignias away. That's like telling a Delta guy you didn't. That's like telling a Delta guy you didn't make selection. You know, hold on just a minute. You know, you didn't make selection. So I had to get in there and fucking chastise the dude on social media and call him out. Would you believe that I had somebody in headquarters Marine Corps looking at my shit?
I bet.
You know,
Okay.
and then you know, I got another situation where you know, since we're talking about it, Major James Caper, first African American guy that got promoted from being an enlisted to an officer in the Vietnam War. He has commendations for 2 Congressional Medal of Honors. But guess what? Racism in the Marine Corps kicked it down to Silver Star. We're trying to get that shit done. So people don't know those dynamics, right? And this is what we're talking about. So how can people talk shit about us if they don't know what the shit that we do in the background? That makes sense. You get me?
Oh, yeah.
So that's why we're talking about accountability. And then when you get those type of people in that level that are reaching out to you, that should tell you something about yourself. That should tell you you're doing something right, right? Just like for me, I'm not gonna brag, but it's like this: 150,000 people can't be wrong if they like what the hell I'm doing. Correct? So
I'm gonna go to a video that I watched this morning. So if I'm just doing a death scroll somewhere, it's always going to be on some kind of how to look at something mentally or from a family or something like that. And so just this morning, a woman was talking about, let's say, the terminology of building up or tearing down. You go back to Hiram's point. You have a choice to either build up or tear down, and that's the thing that the power of choice comes from our Father, and it's within you, and you have to, like I do. Oh my gosh, it's tough to do. My staff sees me do it all the time. I'm like, all right, let me say this in a positive way. And just you just have to slow yourself down, and I know a lot of people will use the word control, but like self-regulate's fine. Just put your filter on, and because you want to be able to, as much as you can. And I struggle with this every day because it is infuriating. I feel the betrayal. I have to tell you guys to your face of the betrayal that the government's doing to you, and they're stealing from you, and all this kind of stuff. But I never want to give my clients false hope. And I definitely will never bullshit a person. I was a medevac pilot. If you didn't hear anything about that, didn't know who I was, I just plan for the worst and hope for the best. But every single day, I talk with people who I want to help build up. And if somebody starts trying to tear at me or whatever, I just go, okay, you're off of Albert's list. You're just now in God's hands, not in Albert's hands. I want to work with people who want my help. And that thankfully is one of the best things, Hiram, that I've been able to do in the past 6 years, is be able to go, all right, let me help these veterans out there vet themselves. And it's amazing how somebody will know about me for years. Now it's years, and they'll tell me that. They'll say, Albert, I finally got my fucking pride out of the way. I'm on your calendar. Or maybe something physical had to happen. I had a guy, no shit, who has worked with not only one of my first year clients for the past 5-6 years, but that client, Josh is his name. Josh was I was a medevac pilot, and he was one of my mechanics over in Afghanistan. And Josh was one of my first year clients. I took care of him, and he works out of Savannah, Georgia, working with a lot of other veterans. And he told this work buddy of his, hey man, Albert did good stuff for me. Go talk to Albert. Well, 5 years later, that other dude still isn't on my calendar until he gets hurt his shoulder doing something. And he's on temporary disability through his company because he's also like building airplanes or whatever. And he finally I'll say his pride, but and we're men, so I'm sure Hiram would fully agree that we learn differently. We are hard-headed. Ask our wives.
Yeah.
and we have to learn our own fucking way. And sometimes that may be through cuddles, or fucking getting your teeth kicked in. And this guy got his teeth kicked in to become my client. So my point back to all of you is, please don't let your teeth get kicked in. Just talk to me. I am what Hiram said. I am 5'6". I am nothing. I'm no big deal. But when I go to, I've never been in a SHOT Show, but when I've been down to Tampa for conventions and there's all these deadly humans around, I walk in the door and it's hugs. I've got colonels jumping out of fucking AUSA. I've got fucking deadly MARSOC dudes and recon guys that jump out at me going, Albert, holy fucking shit, man, you life-changing motherfucker, come here, give me a hug. That was a line from a 160th guy from Huntsville. And like,
I saw it, yeah. And you make a valid point, Albert. See, when people reach out to you and they say thank you, how much is that worth? You can't put a price on it. And people, these motherfuckers don't get it, right? You can't put a price on peace of mind. You can't put a price on fucking brotherhood. You can't put a price on, if we're going to go down and handle the shit, it's going to be a moment that you and me will remember for the rest of our lives, and people missed out. And that's where I'm getting at, right? You've been kicking ass and taking names and just moving on. Next. You don't like the shit? Next. Keep on going. It's the same thing with me. And that's why when people get their teeth in, they have to look at themselves and say, I fucked up. I don't want to admit it, but I fucked up. Because it wasn't a priority. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the thing about it is, when people don't make it a priority, that means they don't have a priority in their life. They don't. I got too many fucking things going that are fucking convenient for me. Mm-hmm. It's too convenient for me. It's not important because I got things that are making me comfortable to fucking get out of my comfort zone, to come and talk to you, Albert, because I feel that we need to talk about it to get it off my chest. And people don't understand that this kind of show can be very therapeutic to help people understand you got to get your fucking shit together, right? As a former drill instructor, I learned I think the biggest thing that I learned from drill instructors is this, right? Is that guys talk about special operations and everything else, and fucking instructors, it's like this, and I know when guys go to boot camp, the first face they see is us. You think that we don't go through some shit? We go through a lot of shit just to maintain the shit so we don't fucking break bearing and set you up for success. So what's my point is people like yourself that do it, right? And it's loyalty, right? That people are showing the human factor appreciation of what you've done. You made a difference in people's lives. Whether you said something, whether you delivered something, whether you made a statement, you stood for something. People are suffering in silence because they're afraid to do something and they won't do it. But they're going to live with regret. Trust me. And that's what's going on, So.
Yeah. I had a good line the other day with regret. What was that? But yeah, and going back to what you're saying too, like I'm just here to help them. I tell my clients all the time, I'm not here to make everything all better. I'm just here to make it right. The government stole your money and now I want it in your pocket and out in front of you where you know where it is. That's it. So you can live your life. And by the way, I do work with, since we're mentioning the teeth kicked in part, I help widows. I don't charge widows. I charge other people, so I don't have to charge widows. But guys, imagine the stories I hear from widows.
Here's the thing that here you make this is one fucking valid point that we've not really addressed, but I think since you mentioned it, it's time to address. We're too fucking busy talking about the veterans, but the hidden victims are the fucking family members and the fucking wives, the spouses that we're dealing with deployment, fucking one-armed bandits that are juggling everything else, and they're getting dicked around. Oh, he cheated on me while I was deployed, or I cheated on him when his deployment. There's a whole fucking combination. Kids, fucking absentee parents, right? Oh, both of them are on deployment. You stay with your parents. Shit like that. Gold Star families getting dicked around. So, you make a valid point about that shit. So I have to bring that up. Those are we're too busy about talking about these idiots. We forget about the fucking people that are really supporting CAS, the foundation of holding the fort down. That's the biggest. That's
Well,
the biggest
especially,
support.
and even I'm glad you mentioned this, because even you said before that, Vietnam, those guys are now the old guys.
Up to bat. They're up to bat.
Yeah, and you're the Gulf One guys. Those guys went through a short period of combat, but it was still fucking combat. And it's still fucking war. It's death, a whole lot of death. If you want to look it up, people go look at the fucking highway of death. And so, what else is there? Oh yeah, I was part of Afghanistan, Iraq, 20 years worth of fucking war, and the government tries to dumb it down. And I hear the conversation. I hear the different language. I hear I was part of Gulf One, and I was deployed 6 times or whatever.
Nobody cares.
Here's my point. Here's my point. The words that the government uses are weaker words. Guys who have been to war know what war fucking is.
Yep.
And that is I know what it was. I know what it looks like. And I know what I want. I want to stay thousands of miles away. I don't want it to be here.
They glorify it.
Like, just don't let the government just is. It's a fucking. I've got plenty of civil affairs guys. Actually, one of my new clients is civil affairs. Doesn't it sound like a fucking psyop? The words that the government uses. The VA uses the word disability, but the word disability, I looked this up. I had to search for it to find it because I was just curious. I'm not sure when the word disability was put into that
language
process. I think it was like the 80s. I don't think it didn't start out that way, because when the government first started paying us veterans, it was, and you're still going to find these words, compensation and pension.
Right.
So whether you, like you said, drill sergeants work hard. Instructors work hard. Pilots work hard. You work, even if it's for months, years, or decades. That's why there's fucking retirement at 38. Retirement is available at 38 because Uncle Sugar worked your fucking ass. You worked way more than civilian, your civilian brothers and sisters and all that stuff. And it just is it actually was paperwork to be compensation and pension. So when you use terminology, or out there, not Hiram, but when other people use terminology of, well, I'm not fucked up like my buddy is, so I don't want to take away from my buddy. Motherfucker, who do you know out there who is getting Hiram's money or Albert's money? Nobody. Nobody can raise their hand. Show me somebody out there, social media, who the fuck is getting Albert's money, Hiram's money, or whatever, or how I'm getting money from others, because I call it your own stack.
Look, Albert, I had to do
my stack. Hiram's created his stack.
Hey, I gotta go.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead.